Let me introduce myself. My name is Anel Kireyeva. I am Chief Researcher in the Institute of Economics of the Ministry of Education of Science of the Republic of Kazakhstan. At the same time, I am head of department. So today I'm going to present to you our scientific research, which is started assessment of the social and economic performance of the vulnerable and depressed regions in Kazakhstan. This scientific research we prepared together with my colleagues from the Institute of Economics, Nurlanova Nailya K and Anna Kredina. So let's get started. First of all, we should discuss about that in many countries there is an urgent need to support backward and problematic regions, small territories, small settlements. In addition, the COVID-19 pandemic has significantly changed the structure and the level of their development, increased problem for potential vulnerability, especially in the small settlements, rural areas where there are no resources and materials to regulate these consequences. The severity of these shocks will be weighed down by the development of effective measures to overcome the inequality of the poorest rural areas and their consequences for economic growth and the poverty reductions. Despite the rapid urbanization process observed in most transition development countries, poverty remains predominantly a phenomenon in small settlements areas. And also in such countries like the Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and some other countries, most of the population lives in underdeveloped territories and rural areas. These trends are expected to continue shortly. Urban organizations, city centers, and regions with the raw materials industries whose products are demanded in the global market have adapted best to the market economy. In this regard, the problem of inequality in these poorest areas must be addressed both within the framework of the poverty reduction strategy and in general within the framework of the policy which is aimed to promote of their development. It is important to develop the countries dealing with the development issues to look different types of the approaches, methods, and instruments for development the poorest areas and their effectiveness in reducing scales. In reducing poverty in these small settlements, and its significant advantages is delaying the migration from small settlements areas to big cities, and this leads to reductions in processor on the step to provide additional support, increase the level of educations, and to provide the social services. In this regard, it is need to highlight that very few scientific studies which to analyze the trends of development of the settlements to overcome their depopulation, and our study tried to fill this gap. And that's why the important aim of our research to propose the methods to assess the social and economic performance of the vulnerable and depressed regions. Our data are collected only on the level of cities and districts. The proposed methods was applied to analyze the aggregate indicators of social economic performance of towns and settlements and districts only of three regions of Kazakhstan: East Kazakhstan, North Kazakhstan, and Jambul regions between 2009 and 2019. Our research consists of 4 steps. At the first steps, we are going to choose the evaluation criteria for the ranking of depressed and vulnerable areas according to the sample of such areas. We are selected and defined depressed vulnerable districts of Kazakhstan based on which proposed our criteria. On the third step, we are identified the depressed and vulnerable towns and settlements of Kazakhstan based on the selected criteria. And finally, the towns and rural settlements areas was ranked depending on their social and economic performance and vulnerability values. So our analysis of the aggregated indicators has shown that the most vulnerable and depressed towns in Kazakhstan, and also it was shown that the biggest risks for this economics of this territory in their low of level of diversifications. And also these regions specialists in no narrow range of traditional and basic industries. In the future research, we will try to identify the vulnerability on small settlements areas, not only in 3 regions. We will try to study other regions of Kazakhstan, and we will try to include various factors in our growth models. So, thank you for your attention.